We got smashed, bro. We got smashed, bro.
3, 2, 1, go!
What's up, people? It's your boy Levelhead back with another live Leveled Gamers podcast every Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. And today is the 29th, the last day of Black History Month. And y'all have not been doing this month correct. I'm just going to let you know that right off the top. Let's just get that on out the way. More respect. We need 3 months, not just one. And not the shortest month of the year. But anyway, welcome to the show. Get off my soliloquy, my rant. What's up, Mr. Norris?
What's up? And I want to correct you. You said Wednesday. It's actually Thursday.
Oh, my bad.
I was people showing up on Wednesday.
Every Thursday at 8:30. Correction. What's up, K-Bob?
Man, what it do? I'm here today. I'm here to, man, ready to get into some topics, sir.
Okay. Yeah, we ready to get into the topic. We have Nia in the building. Yeah, we brown skinned folks. We brown skinned. You know what I'm saying? We all shades of black. If you are here, but welcome to the show, Nia. We happy to have Miss Nia in these internet streets on Live and Level Gamer podcast street. Knocking on our... Anyway, that was corny. Let me slap myself for that one. That was kind of corny. But welcome to the show, people. Yes. What's up, K-Bub? I ain't forget you, bro.
No, man. Be 100% truthful with everybody. I am a little tired. I said I'm tired, boss. But no, man. But I'm good, man. I'm excited, man. It's always good to get in on a Thursday and chop it up with the homies, man. So I'm pretty excited though. Pretty excited.
Yeah, you speaking of tired, I'm in that same land with you. I'm right there with yous.
Well, I guess that makes 3 of us.
Man, so
old head.
Well, that's the podcast. Thank y'all for showing up tonight. Peace. We like to thank Nia for showing up and the 4 others that are. Anyway, let me stop. Welcome to the show, y'all. Man, we got a lot to talk about on tonight, bro. We got a lot to discuss. Huh?
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, man, we got to talk about AAA. Is AAA games dead? I think that's going to be our main topic. Is AAA games or gaming dead? Or a better way to ask, is it viable anymore? That's the question. That's what we should ask. That's a better way to say it. It's not dead, but is it viable? We're gonna discuss that. We got to talk about Sony and they laid off. That's never good. But we're gonna discuss that and then go, I guess, to a larger discussion of how we're seeing layoffs across the industry and what is this saying about the state of affairs, the what would we say, conditioning of gaming right now, the state of gaming right now. And that kind of plays into, AAA titles and the cost. We're going to talk about, what else, K-Bon? What was the other? Oh, Nintendo on they ninjas. They suing. Zura?
Yuzu.
Zuzu.
Yeah.
Is it Yuzu? Why? Yeah, with a Y. Yeah. Yuzu. Emulation. They suing Yuzu emulation, and is that what they call it? Ain't they emulators? They do emulation.
Yeah, they're an emulator.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about that, and I guess
Sister Nia talking about she tired too, boss.
Yeah, Nia, you tired with us? Yeah, boy, we might not be here because we were 2 hours last time. We might. Anyway, let me hush. Because every time I say we're not gonna be long,
every time you say that, brother,
we long. I know, right? So anyway, I will not
You see,
put that out there. But
you see what
anyway,
she said?
what
You
she
see what she
say?
said?
AAA
said
games
triple-
aren't dead. We're in the new era of quadruple.
Hey man, I seen that quadruple A game. I don't know if I want that.
Now we in the era. We gonna talk about it. We gonna talk about it. But anyway, anything y'all wanna get out before we jump into what you've been gaming on? I know we breaking
Man.
the ice.
Yeah. I seen a couple of movies this weekend.
What you check out?
What?
I seen a couple of movies. So I'm gonna tell you the little story. So took my boys to go see a movie over the weekend, and my intentions were to go see the Demon Slayer movie. Well, I don't know if it's a movie. I think it's
Yeah,
like
Demon Slayer. Yeah.
yeah. I didn't
movie.
know. I didn't know it was rated R.
Demon Slayer. Let me look this up.
Yeah, Demon Slayer. Yeah.
Ain't that
Yeah,
an anime?
I didn't know.
They cussing up in there or something?
Well, I think it's because of the blood and the gore. So
okay.
I didn't know. I didn't know it was AAA. Not AAA. Good lord.
Uh,
I didn't know it was rated R. So we get in there, and she was like, "My oldest can go in. He's 8, but my youngest, he couldn't come in."
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "So what else y'all showing?" And they was like, and I was like, "Oh, y'all still got for the same time. Y'all got Madam Web." So I saw Madam Web.
oh
this weekend.
Lord! Oh Lord!
Look, I accidentally saw Madam Web.
Oh,
I had
my
no
goodness.
intentions of seeing that movie. It was a Sony Marvel property. That's all. That's the best I can say. It was a Sony Marvel property. It was at the IMAX. We went in that mug. It was you probably could count maybe 15 people in that movie to see that movie. Yeah, they was watching it. They thought it was okay. They wasn't like crazy about it, but like I said, I accidentally watched that movie.
That's funny.
Just wait until it come on HBO. Or something. Excuse me, Max.
Excuse
I
me,
might not even do
I'm
that.
back. Sorry that I had to walk away. I heard somebody say they saw Madam Trash. Yeah, so
It is Madam Trash.
you paid money to go see that kid.
No, I paid money to see Demon Slayer, and she let me get into Madam Web because my son couldn't go in.
Oh,
That's funny.
So,
So
the
you
other
went to see
movie,
Madam Web and put it on Demon Slayer. Is that what happened? Which one is it?
They said that's the lowest grossing movie in Sony Marvel history.
Sony needs to
It's
stop.
crazy.
Sony just needs to let Marvel make their movies and just
they
stop.
should.
Yeah.
They
Go ahead,
should.
Keith. My bad. What else?
No, you absolutely right. Another person who needs to stop is Tyler Perry. He must be stopped.
Lord.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
He
Lord.
I haven't
must
watched
be
that
stopped.
yet. I haven't watched
You
that
haven't?
yet. With Kelly Rowland on Netflix. I haven't watched it because I know it's gonna be garbage.
He must be stopped.
Yes.
He's
He
getting too
needs to stop
powerful.
writing his own he needs to stop writing his own scripts, man. He said he writes he said he can write what 40, 50 scripts in a week. I'm like, that's why your movies are like that.
But what about just one good one? Can you do that one?
Man.
Do one good one? We don't need 40. We just need one good one.
Yeah.
I mean, I commend the brother for he does a lot of work and he puts a lot of people
On
and they
not
get on
paying-
with him
not
or
paying
whatever.
him.
I mean, the people in this movie are already on, but there was a huge opportunity for that Kelly Rowland character to expand her acting chops, and it didn't do it. It didn't do it.
Man, I'm gonna check it out now. You got me curious. I want to see it.
I'm not.
I'm
I've
not
been
saying a
skipping.
word.
Now I did. I watched the new Avatar on Netflix.
I watched the first episode, I think.
Yeah, it's not bad. Now they could have. Now I'm gonna say this, dude. They did kind of get the characters looking like they should look. I don't know if all the characters are on point, but the little bit that I've seen, I'm not mad at it. I'm enjoying it. I know it's been getting a lot of.
I did like the casting. I love the casting. Some of the casting choices.
Casting is pretty good.
The Fire Lord is amazing, and the Uncle casting was just
Perfect.
100% spot perfect.
I think the Fire Lord daughter, but I'm okay. I think the friend of the daughter looks more like the actual character than she does. But everything else is pretty cool. I don't know if y'all seen it, how much y'all seen it, but I
haven't seen
enjoyed
it
it.
yet.
Okay,
I just
I'm
seen the first
enjoying it. I've
episode.
seen like 4 episodes of it so far.
I'm gonna check it out.
Hey, I got one more.
Yes,
movie. Then
yes.
we can move forward.
Yes.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
all at once.
Finally saw this movie. I've been wanting to see this movie, but I wasn't gonna pay for it.
Quick thoughts.
Quick thoughts. That is an amazing movie. Like
Hey, thank you, sir.
It really makes you think because here's the
Plots. What's the plot?
No, can't tell you that.
I'm not gonna say the plot, but what
can't even do that.
but what it did,
don't do that. Don't do that. Go ahead, Keith. My bad.
what it did for me, it said to me, this is my thoughts. It showed me that nothing really matters. You have to make things matter. You have to live life. You can't allow life to live for you.
Somebody preaching.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta live.
Amens on here.
That's what I got from it because it's
organs.
you could literally say none of this stuff matters, and it's true. Like you can go live day to day, yada. But you gotta live your life. You gotta make choices and say this is important to me.
Keith,
right?
you need to go. Download this app called Hoop Triggers.
What is that?
You hooping. You need to go ahead and download so you can hit them organs on that.
Need some organs on that.
You need some organs right there, bro. You preaching, Keith. Go ahead. My bad.
But
You got an 8-man corner over here.
That was my takeaway from it. Now I'm not gonna spoil the play. It's on Netflix, so you can watch
it is? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I thought it was on Apple TV. Hey man, all right.
It's amazing. If you ask me, I thought it was an absolutely amazing movie. I loved.
Are you seen it?
Yeah, no, I've absolutely seen it. I've been telling you guys to go see it. It's amazing.
Okay,
level. Now I will say, you got kids. There are some scenes that
they grown enough. They can handle it.
No.
I'm messing.
Hold on. What scene you talking about?
I'm joking.
Let me think.
They was fighting with some weapons, K-Bone. And these weren't really weapons.
Okay, I remember.
And
you know what that is?
Yeah. And then they was trying to jump on something too. So
okay, I got you. All right. I'll check it out.
I think with the absurdity of that, I don't think that may just be missed because the whole movie is absurd.
So my kids walked in while I was watching it because they was outside and they came in while I was watching it, and I didn't say nothing. I just let the movie play. So I was like, they don't know what this is. I'm just gonna let it fly.
Let it ride out, huh?
Let it ride.
No pause. Did y'all get my pause video? Did y'all watch?
Man.
Yeah.
Yes, we watching pause video. You old man.
So we done with the pausing? Can we pause?
Ain't nobody done with it. You just old.
I'm not old. Older than you, but anyway. Anything else, Keith, before we get into what you've been gaming on?
All right, I'm done.
Oh man,
it's an amazing movie. Everyone, go see it. Go see it.
Okay, what was the name of it again?
Anything, everywhere.
No, not anything. It's
everywhere. Everything, everywhere, all at once.
All at once.
Everything. Anything, everywhere, all at once. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Okay, I'll check it out.
It's an amazing movie.
So let's go. Yeah. You know what time it is? It's time for What Have You Been Gaming On? Sing it, folks. Let's go. Hey. What you been gaming on? 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 Gaming on, gaming on, gaming on.
One, go!
So who going first? Who got the flow? All right, go ahead, Mr. Norris.
I can get it out the way. So I really only played.
Pause.
Come on. Come on now. No. So I've only played 2 games this week. Death Stranding.
Oh, you still playing that, bro?
Yeah, I think I'm too dumb to play this game though. I think I'm
Wait,
done.
You
wait.
said
You
that
said
the
you too
last time.
dumb?
Huh?
You
You
said
said
something
dumb?
similar the last time you played it.
Man, I'm in a facility and they telling me to do something. I'm supposed to be resting, and I'm like, how am I supposed to rest? And I can't get into the resting area, and I'm like, what didn't I do? I don't want to run back out there. I have no weapons. I can't defend myself. Well, how do I do this? So I just cut the game off. I'll figure it out.
Keith was in there. Help me.
Man, for real.
Help me, help you.
Oh man, that's
But
funny.
nah, beautiful game. Of course, I'm a really give it a real good chance this time around. I think I like the premise of it. Rebuilding America. So that's the first game. The second game is Hell
I thought you was
Diver.
finna say,
Ah,
hell to
you
the.
got a couple. You got a couple games in, huh?
I got one game in.
Oh,
I got
okay.
one game in.
I thought
I
that brother was
jumped
finna
in and
start
these
singing,
guys
hell
were
to the no, to the no. That's what I
these
thought you was.
guys
I was
were
like, wait a minute, Keith. Go ahead, my bad.
no, but it was fun. I didn't know what I was doing. They was on there chatting. It was some dude that was just talking. I was like, man, I can't even hear the sound of the game. He talking so much.
Hmm.
But he's like, yeah, we got a new guy in here, blah blah blah. So after completing that mission with them, I was able to level up. So seems like it's gonna be fun. I can't wait till we get on it. But that's what I've been playing this week: Death Stranding and Helldivers.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Go ahead, Mister K Bum 20.
No problem. I've been on my usuals. So I've been putting time into that 2K with the homies whenever they hop on. Still playing FIFA with the homies as well whenever they get the crew together. Been putting time in that Overwatch. That Overwatch, the new patch that came out about a week or so ago, just totally made the game so much better. It is so much better of a game. I'm very excited about Overwatch now, and I get excited playing it again. That was something that's been
What
missing
made
for
it
a
better?
long time. Say what?
What made it better?
So what they did was they increased the size of the projectile. So basically, what they wanted to do, they wanted to make aiming in the game easier. They wanted to make it feel. They wanted to reward you for your aim, and they wanted to make the game feel more fluid. So what they did was they increased the hit boxes of the characters, it expands a little bit past the player with the character model, and then they increased the size of the projectiles. So the size of the bullets, the size of the arrows, the size of the spears. They increased the size. So it increased the size of the hitboxes, increased the size of the projectiles, and then they increased the health of the characters. So every character has a higher health pool. So now it's easier to hit the targets, and you have higher health pools, so that you're not immediately deleted, right? Because previously, there was so much burst damage, is what they call it, that you were immediately deleted, right? When somebody get their scopes on you. And they also added one more piece of the game. They added the fact that when the DPS is doing damage to you, your healing is reduced to that character. So that prevented the long, drawn out battles because you can focus fire and melt down a target. And with all those changes, it just made the game way better, more fun, more intuitive, and more rewarding when you hit your shots. So I'm really really enjoying that. And then I've been playing. I actually popped in Call of Duty because, as I stated before, my brand new TV has the very high refresh rate and very low input lag, and I wanted to test out some Call of Duty to see if my gameplay is improved because of the changes to the TV, and I have to say, it has absolutely improved my skills in Call of Duty. So now, because of the faster input lag, I don't feel like, I would say, man, I was shooting them first. But in reality, because of the input lag and because of the being on Wi-Fi and everything like that, I actually wasn't shooting first. But now, that issue is way less now, so I enjoy that. So I played a couple games of Call of Duty. Still not a fun game, but I enjoy that. And lastly, last piece, and now I'll give it over to Level. He probably doesn't have many games to talk about. But the lastly, what I've been playing on is
Slap yourself.
lastly.
I've been playing my game. Not taking none of that today. No slander shall come my way tonight.
No slander. Okay. Lastly, been playing Prince of Persia: The Last Crown, and I believe I'm at the final main battle, because it's one of those things where you get ready to go do it, and then it says, "Are you sure you want to?"
Pause.
For the person who says we done with the pausing. Anyway, I get to the last part, and it says, "Do you want to enter this final part? Because if you enter this part, you can't
enter
get back."
what we enter?
Lord have mercy.
See how stupid it is?
I'm on mute, done.
Lord have mercy.
Go ahead. My bad. See, that's why I said we need to cancel pausing. Go ahead.
We get to the final part, and they finally say, if you do this part, there is no going back. And so I saw that, and I said, okay, you know what? Let me not play this probably the final boss fight. And I started to explore some of the areas that I hadn't explored yet, to see if I can get more power-ups, better weapons, better trinkets, and stuff like that. And so I've been going back through the map, and going back through the map with all your powers makes it a breeze. So I've been just flying through some of these areas that I hadn't seen before. But as I said before, this is still a platformer. It is absolutely a platformer. But it's a little bit better when you get some of these powers, and it takes some of the pain out of the platforming aspects of the game. So I'll probably finish the game sometime either this weekend or next week, and I'll get a chance to talk about it a little bit more next time.
Okay. All right. As for me, I've been playing Jedi Survivor. Nia, I'm not salty. I'm just salty. Anyway, I've been playing Jedi Survivor, and I pretty much made it through the first stage. What else did I play? Oh, yes.
The game.
I had it the whole time I had Resident Evil 4. I just waited till I beat Resident Evil 4 remake to play it. So I even got NBA 2K. Is it 25, K-Bomb?
Good Lord. No, 24.
24? Yeah. So I'll be putting that
I
in
got
so
it too,
I can,
believe it or not.
so I can jump in with K-Bomb them
That's
and,
fine.
and play with them.
You don't
So
do
I've
that.
been looking forward to
Don't do
this,
that.
man. I'm really about this online. Because you two have me out here spending $130 so that I can play Helldiver 2. So I have Helldivers 2. I downloaded it. I also had to buy Sony's expensive online playing service.
It's stupid expensive now.
Oh my God. I'm like, man, this is redunculous. So I end up going
agree.
through the tutorial, and I think this is going to be a fun game. I mean, it's simple. Some of the controls is kind of wonky, kind of putting in using your direction pad to put these codes in. That was a little different. But it seems to be fun, like it's going to be a fun game. I am offended, though, since it is Black History Month. I am offended. I'm confused why it starts out with a Caucasian brother talking, and he looks at a black sister and her son. I take it that it might have been his wife or a friend. I have no idea. But out of nowhere, they just get killed. And I'm like, why? So that was kind of jarring to me a little bit. I was like, oh, we got to keep that trope alive, people, do we? But anyway, I'm just joking. I ain't joking, but I am joking. This game looks like it's going to be fun, man. So I'm looking forward to getting in there with you and Keith and seeing what this game has to offer. And what else did I play? That's it for me. So K-Bomb, you was kind of right. I don't play a whole lot of games, but I've been playing my games though. So anyway, So let's get into these topics. Going with our first topic right out the gate, we have a few things to talk about. And I believe, I think AAA titles should be where we should start with the question. Is AAA titles dead? I guess we need to change it. Is AAA titles viable in today's market? And what's going on with AAA titles and the cost of these titles? So, what do we have an article on this, Keith?
No, I had saw a video.
Okay.
This guy was kind of going over it, and he was talking about the price of how much these games costing, and it all kind of like correlated with each other, the layoffs and all those different things of that nature. And then he brought in games like Power World, Helldivers. Like these games are starting to take over, and they're not AAA big budgeted games, but they're seemingly taking over the industry. This is where he was going with it.
So yeah, I watched the same video you watched because you shared it with us, and he made some interesting points. He was talking about how games like God of War, Uncharted, Last of Us, Starfield, these type of games are costing upwards of $300 to $400 million. That was one of the things that kind of stood out to me, was that these games have reached that level of cost, and the fact that AAA games are becoming too expensive, and is going to lead to our next part of the conversation is the layoffs, but we're going to stay with this, that these games are becoming too expensive and not making the return. Like, what games did they talk about that was basically dead on arrival?
Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones. I'm trying to look it up. But some of these games have these major budgets, yet when they hit the shelves, do not sell at the clip to recoup that investment. You know, so we're seeing a lot of studios, as you see, we're going to talk about these studios closing. This kind of is a catch-all topic because this title is probably what's leading to the other topics. So I guess the question is, going back upstairs, I guess the question is, are AAA titles still valuable at the level in which they are being made, especially like Sony? Because when we talk about Sony brought up the fact that because of the cost of AAA titles, they're having to rethink their strategy. So we can kind of talk about this all. This kind of catches everything. So I guess I'm gonna throw out there. Cabe, I'm gonna bring you in. Do you feel that AAA titles are what the word I use? Huh?
You said valuable.
Valuable. That's I kind of my kids are trying to come down here and got lost. Do you feel AAA titles are still valuable as they once were in the gaming space, or is this new model with games like Helldivers 2, Power World, Fortnite, and all these other titles, are they changing the landscape? And are they making these developers think again? Go ahead.
So let me touch on this. I do think gaming is different now. I think the landscape of gaming has changed immensely from when we were in the ages of PS2, PS3s, where those AAA, I guess we started saying the word AAA, right, around PS2, PS3 era. I think the landscape of gaming has completely changed. I do believe that, what makes, I'll take Helldiver, for example. What happened to Helldiver is kind of what game it is now. Is that you get a title that either people have heard or maybe haven't really heard that much, and then uh, the word of mouth spreads the popularity of the game, and then it kind of blows up. Uh, the fact that it is a good game is the reason why it blew up, but it wasn't marketed the same way. If you guys remember, when Sony had their last what do they call those things? Um, the
PlayStation
Sony
Direct,
yeah, it's not PlayStation Direct, but it's called something else.
Showcase,
It's not called Showcase. It's
PlayStation
something play, whatever.
State of
State of
But
Play.
play.
when they had the no, when they had the video they have, there's a certain way they can name
Oh,
it.
okay.
It's
Oh,
PlayStation.
okay.
But anyway, when they had that video, and the first video they showed was Helldivers, and I stated I had absolutely zero interest in Helldivers, zero, none, zilch, nada. But this game has picked up speed and has gotten word from the community, and it's so much that it did a feat that is normally not done in video games, and that feat was that it sold even more the second week it came out than the first. I forget the percentage it increased, but it was definitely a substantial amount increased when Helldivers came out. That the second week it did even more than the first week, and that is word of mouth. That is people saying, "Oh, this game is good. Oh, this game is fun." Blah blah blah. Same thing with Power World. Um, so I do think that these type of games are having an impact on gaming, and but what these games are that's doing it are these um, social type games, right? Among Us did the same thing. Before Among Us, there was Rocket League did the same thing. But these games are all um, social games, right? And so they're the ones that people are wanting to play with friends, and that's what we keep talking about. But I'm going to say this. Well, I said all that to say this. There was a time where we were saying story driven games are dead. So not first person. Single player games are dead. Right? There was a time towards the middle to the end of the PS4 that was the mantra that these online and these social games were going to completely weed out single player games. And then we got Star Wars, and then we got God of War, and then we got Ghost of Tsushima, and we got all these banging Spider-Man, all these bangers, um, single player, story driven, even Horizon in his own instinct, Tears of the Kingdom, Zelda games in his own right. We got these bangers that show people no, the single player experience is not dead. The thing is, the single player experience are the ones that really puts out what you would call these AAA type of games. You don't the multiplayer games. Only guys that's really doing that is Call of Duty, that you would consider a AAA multiplayer game. Because Battlefield's not here anymore, so they're not really in that same space. Pretty much, Call of Duty's the only guy doing that. So I think there's still a space for it, but I think you have to be selective when you do a AAA type of game in the magnitude of a God of War, in the magnitude of even a GTA. That's why GTA comes out every 10 years at this point. you can't put that much money in a game and pop it out every 2 years or every year like Assassin's Creed were doing. I think you where we were having studios putting out 4 or 5 AAA games and on that studio, those days are gone. But I don't think the days of AAA is gone. But the fact that Insomniac can still put out a AAA game um, back-to-back years with Spider-Man 2, and before that, Ratchet and Clank, both AAA, both bangers, both highly regarded. I don't think it's over. But then you look at Naughty Dog, who hasn't put out a game in a while. So I think AAA gaming is changing. I think it's still viable, but I think you got to be selective. I don't think you can just do AAA as much as you could in the past, especially within the same studio. So that's my take.
Okay, so I got a little bit up here real quick, and I'm gonna add to what you said, K-Bum, here in a second. But I don't read it. It says a modern AAA game with a recently approved development budget and launch window of 2024-2025 typically costs $200 million or more, according to the CMA's report. This is a significant increase from the figures from even just 5 years ago, when the average range was 50 to 150 million on average. Now, that was what they were saying. So games have literally jumped up between 150 to $50 million. Now, you was talking about Insomniac. It was saying over here how Kotaku said that Insomniac Spider-Man 2 development, the document revealed that Insomniac spent $300 million on the game's development, roughly $30 million over budget, and that the game needed to sell 7 million copies at full price to break even. That's before they even make a profit. It had to sell 7 million. Now, I don't know. Could one of y'all look up how many copies did Spider-Man 2 sell? I'm not sure. Somebody could look that up real quick and just spit it out. My thing is this. I agree with you, K-Bum. That's why I'm going to say they definitely not dead.
I think it's about 10 million now. I'm seeing.
So they made some money, but they broke even at 7 million. Is the price still the same?
Yeah, it's still full price. For the Spider-Man game. It hasn't dropped.
Okay, so 300 million to make Spider-Man 2. That means probably God of War probably cost 200 plus million. The Last of Us probably cost 200 to 300 million. That's probably why Naughty Dog, you haven't seen nothing from Naughty Dog in a while. That's why they probably keep re-releasing Last of Us 2, even though we got it on the PlayStation 5 and we got that bump. They re-released it on the PlayStation 5, and then they re-release it on the 4. Did they re-release it on the? No, they re-released Last of Us the original 2. So what this tells me is that while it's not dead, it is becoming less viable. It is with budgets this big and this expansive and expensive. To break even at 7 million, you only sold 10 million so far. It isn't. It's saying that it's not viable anymore because the cost to make the game versus what we're recouping, meaning, do they have enough to start on the next game? Insomniac? We don't know what they made. I don't know what Ratchet and Clank Rifts Apart cost to make, but I don't think it costs as much as Spider-Man 2. Would you think, K-Bon? Keith?
No, I don't think
not as much as Spider-Man 2, but it definitely costs because that's a high quality game.
Yeah, I would say what about 150, maybe 100 million, 150, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. So Spider-Man was literally double what Ratchet and Clank Rifts Apart sold or made. How many copies of Rift Apart sold? If somebody can look that up, because to me, like the question is not if it's dead, if the question is is it viable. I'm gonna say it's slowly becoming. I think the industry is saying no. That's what I think. The industry is saying no. The fact that Sony literally said we will not have any meaningful first party titles, meaning they talking about those Triple H story-driven titles. We will not have any at all this year. Microsoft, do they even make AAA titles? I need to stop. Do they even make AAA titles? Because they don't have nothing on the level of what we're talking about with Sony. So does Microsoft have AAA titles at all, especially first party? I know, will we still say Halo is AAA? I say Forza and Gears. Halo, definitely. I'm messing with y'all with Halo. But then you look at third party. We're not even getting a lot from third party right now. And then you look at a game like, was it Suicide Squad? That bombed at launch and cost almost 200-something million to make. And it bombed. Let me pull that up. Let me pull that up real quick.
Ratchet and Clank is probably sitting at 3 million if you add in PC sales.
3. That's it?
Well, I see it says
Oh, it says shit.
4 million. I see 4 million by June 2023.
Let me look at this again.
Yeah, 4 million by June of 2023.
Is that including PC?
Don't know. It doesn't say yes. It doesn't say no.
Gotcha.
So was Suicide Squad game, was it canceled?
Was it? No.
It came out? Okay. It did. I know it didn't sell well. Let me see.
No, it was not well received.
Okay, so and that was a big budgeted game, and it wasn't well received. So all these games, you can literally, and it's crazy, but you can literally, a studio could go out of business with one of these games not being, like you just said, K-Bump, not being received well. Just one game with that level of a budget, if the reception is not good, that studio is probably at bankruptcy's door. That's crazy. That they got. That's why we seeing less and less games being made. We seeing more and more remakes of the same game being introduced to us with better graphics and frame rates. It's because these games are extremely expensive. That's why they have all that microtransaction stuff in the games. When I look at Star Wars Survivor, how much y'all think that game cost to make? That's at least 150 million to 200 million.
Probably 200 million, probably.
Right. That's
because of the IP itself.
Yeah. So then you add, if that 200 that's the game development, is that marketing? Is that all of it or just development?
It's probably game? Marketing part in there too.
Okay, so these are movie budgets. I know we've been saying that, but there are Marvel movies that didn't cost this much. Or cost about this.
Tyler Perry movies that didn't cost this much.
No, definitely not. So I'm gonna bring you in, Keith. I'm gonna say, while I agree with you, K-Bum, that it's not dead, I would say it's slowly, and I would say, well, I won't even say slowly. I say it's quickly showing itself not to be viable. With just what we're seeing, just reading The Room, look how sparse and limited and what's the word I'm looking for? How dry and absent these titles are. There's nothing out there really. Spider-Man 2, what did we get before Spider-Man 2? What was the biggest game they had before Spider-Man 2 from Sony? Was it God of War? Ragnarok?
Ratchet and Clank?
No, that was Ragnarok was after Ratchet and Clank.
Was it?
Yeah. So what was we got the remakes of Last of Us, But so let's not count the remakes because those games are already made. Between Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, and Spider-Man 2, what was the other game we got from that? Was AAA?
I believe it was Horizon. Didn't Horizon come around that time?
Horizon, Forbidden West, and God of War. So basically, 4 $100+ million games. So yeah, they not able to make games. And Droz and Sony said because we focus so much on story and all that, these games are becoming more expensive and harder to make. So yeah, I would say yes. It's saying that it's becoming unsustainable. Go ahead, Keith. The floor is yours, though.
I think we have a problem in the gaming industry. These developers, they're going to have to be extremely intentional about the games that they make. They can't just throw up things because the people aren't responding. They're responding to the Power Worlds. They're responding to Helldivers. They're responding to Fortnites. They're responding to these social games more than anything, and that's how they're making their money back. Hence why, some CEOs of certain companies are saying all games should be everywhere because that's the money's in the social aspect of gaming. The where we love the AAA single player, because I love it to death. I love me a good single player AAA game, but they've raised the bar so high that anything less than
Stellar.
I don't even know. It's not acceptable. We don't want to accept anything less than that. Like if I'm being funny when I say this, but if you got a PlayStation game, you got an Xbox game, the Xbox game isn't acceptable. That's not a shot or anything like that, but that's just how the industry's been moving. Like we look at their games, these Xbox games could be decent, they could be good, but because we've had a taste of that good life, we don't want that. But it's really expensive. And that's why you saw early on and people were mad about it when the PS5 came out, those games were cross-generation. Same thing with Nintendo. They're going to make this game cross-generation. Whatever they do moving forward, the Switch 2 could be extremely powerful. But they're going to have to make sure that the Switch is still taken care of because they're worried about the revenue. They're not worried about our feelings. They're not worried about the pixels. They're not worried about none of that. They want to be able to make money. And that's why you see a lot of things going cross-generation and you don't see that major leap and all this other stuff because it's too expensive. So that's the problem I see that we have in this industry is that we had a taste of that good life. And now we don't want to say, no, like you see those women on TV and they get a divorce and the man was making millions or whatever. And they're like, no, you got to go back here. No, I can't go back. I can't go back to that. So
Right.
I'm just being funny. But yeah, but the AAA gaming is still viable, but they're going to have to be extremely intentional about the games that they make. The marketing is going to have to be on point. They can't just come out with some goofy stuff like, what's that game that's similar to Grand Theft Auto?
Saints Row.
Saints Row. You can't, we can't, no. Unless that game is like extremely fun and it has a social aspect, you can't, we ain't doing that.
It was supposedly originally it was fun, and then they just got to like Assassin's Creed. They just got to milking it so much.
Started being goofy.
They milked the life out of it, and it stopped being what it was. That's one thing I will say about Sony. They had that mindset to where we want to sparse this out. We want to put distance between these titles. The only game I think they may have spent their wheel too many times on too quickly. And I'm happy that they gave it a break. I want to see it come back. Was Uncharted because they made literally 3 Uncharted on the PlayStation 3, and we got 4 on the PlayStation 4, and we haven't seen Uncharted since. And I think that's wise to give us a chance to miss Uncharted. They kind of ran with Last of Us. We got 2 Last of Us. So but let me read this. It says major publishers report AAA franchises can cost over $1 billion to make. Games like Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto already require over $250 million in development cost alone. So that's why I was asking. With Spider-Man, was that $300 million just development costs, or was that also, marketing? Because this is saying, and this is an article from April 28 of last year, that development costs is reaching $253 million just on developing the game, not even promoting it. On Wednesday, the UK Competition and Markets Authority (CMA) blocked the Microsoft and Activision. Oh, okay. So, black due to its implications for cloud game, along with fundamental changes to the future of Microsoft and Activision Blizzard.
That's an old article.
It's old, but I'm just using for the point of this conversation, trying to see what else they're saying. The document released alongside the decision has revealed quite a few details about the increased financial demand behind AAA games. In the massive report on the decision, the CMA revealed that some major publishers report their AAA franchises cost over $1 billion to make. So that Microsoft situation with Activision revealed that some of these games cost $1 billion when you add in development costs and you add in marketing and packaging. They get to $1 billion, bro. According to the report, AAA games that are greenlit now with potential to release in 2024, 2025 typically receive development budgets of $200 million or higher. Call of Duty has already surpassed $300 million in development cost alone. Microsoft and the next Grand Theft Auto title will likely require a development budget of $250 million or more. When considering marketing costs, the number could jump to $1 billion across a franchise. One single franchise may cost $1 billion, which with one large studio reporting that a major franchise's development costs $660 million and marketing costs $550 million. This cost demonstrates a significant increase from 5 years ago, when most AAA games had budgets between $50 to $150 million. The CMA ruling cited a report by marketing intelligence group IDG also revealed details about the increasing development demand for new Call of Duty titles. So we don't need to go no farther. Did y'all hear what I just said?
Yep.
Some of these games that's only selling 13, 14 million. You wonder why they're not so quick to make any new games, or why are we constantly getting sequels? When you have remakes, when you have a game, one game that costs, when it's all said and done, over 600-700 million just to get it to the shelves, with the proper marketing and packaging and development, bro, you could go broke on one game. That's wild. I didn't know it was that. Bro, did y'all see that? My God. K-Bum, floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly why I said that they're going to be reduced. Right, it's not going to be where they're gone, because there are gamers and people that still enjoy that type of experience, but it's going to be reduced. I mean, that was the point of at the point of the beginning, that you're not going to see as many titles as that, and that they're not going to continue to make titles. You have to be more selective with what you make as far as a triple title type of experience. And as you stated before, I believe an example what you're stating is for Spoken. For Spoken, put I think around 100 to 200 mil in for Spoken, and after that game flopped, that studio was closed. Mm-hmm. It was absorbed back into Square Enix. Square Enix. It was taken back under, and a lot of that was scrapped. But that's also why you have microtransactions, and you have, and also reason why Suicide Squad had microtransactions, and because they had to find a viable way to recoup the money. Because if you're going to make a game 200 mil, and just selling the game, as we've stated, is not good enough. Just the sales of the game is not good enough. You have to find other ways to monetize your game, and that's how you get some of these predatorily bad
predatorial practices.
predatorial practices where they're trying to gouge you for money because they have to find a way to make the money back. And then if you can't make the money back, you do start to see kind of what we're talking about in the next topic. You see closers, you see layoffs, you see decrease in throughput. That's a very corporate word to say. But you see these negative effects.
Go ahead and pivot to that. I'm gonna pull up the article. Well, go ahead and pivot. You because you might as well because it's all like I said. This first topic pretty much bleeds into all the other subjects. So go ahead.
Yeah. So with that, what we're seeing from pretty much across the board. I believe that there's an article that states in the first 2 months of this year, we have matched the number of layoffs in the video game industry of all of last year. I believe the number of last year was 6,100 layoffs. And I believe either we've eclipsed that 6,100 or we're right knocking on the door of 6,100 layoffs in totality of the video game industry. One of the bigger ones was after the acquisition, several months after the acquisition of Activision and Blizzard, Microsoft laid off a large portion of their workforce. We've seen, as of last week, I believe, Sony laid off a portion of their workforce, which also includes the Dynamite developers from Insomniac. They were not untouched. And as well, you're seeing layoffs from EA. I believe they announced this week that there are several layoffs, and even some of their
EA, Microsoft are the latest companies to announce cuts.
There you go.
Do you want me to read it?
If you want to set it up, that's fine. Unless Keith had something else he wanted to add beforehand.
Well, I kind of wanted to add something to that last topic, but we've already moved on.
No, that we still with it because I was just saying it bleeds into this. So go ahead.
Well, I wanted to ask and see what y'all thought about this. Would shorter games with the guarantee of expansions to lengthen the games, would that be a viable option for the industry going forward? That way we can continue to get the high quality that we want, but the game might be what's a good example? What's that one game that came out on PS4 but everybody said it was too short? It was kind of like Gears of War. I can't think of the name of that game, but like a game that's like not 4 or 5 hours, but like a 10-hour game, still with that same quality of gameplay. Like would that
came
be
out on the
something
PlayStation 4? You said?
Yeah, it was kind of like a steampunk type of game. It was like Gears of War.
Talking about the Order?
The
16?
Order, yeah.
Order, yeah. And everybody said that game was too short or something like that.
It wasn't good, but yeah, it was very short.
I enjoyed the game. It was just repetitive. It was a little repetitive. I enjoyed it. I hated on that game when it first.
Yeah, it's about 8 to 10 hours.
It's about 10 hours. Yeah, I got about 10 hours out of that game.
So what if the industry moved 8 to 10 hours of gameplay?
Well, they're gonna have to bring the cost down. They're gonna have to. They can't be saying 8 to 10 hours at $79 or $69. It had to go. My bad. Y'all saw LeBron last night. Anyway, we can talk about that later. It had to be what I think is like Helldiver. We need to get back to the 40s and the $40 and $50 game. And I'm just saying, like, reason I'm saying, okay,
you crazy.
Well, let's follow me. Let's follow my logic.
I'll follow you.
Helldiver costs $49.
Mm-hmm.
No, $39.
$39. Mm-hmm.
Kena Bridge of Spirits cost how much, Keith? That was
It was like
39,
40.
like 30. I think it was like 39 as well.
And fantastic game.
Fantastic game. So and then I look at, and we got to bring Nintendo in here, which I don't believe Breath of the Wild. I think they just did that.
Prince of Persia was only $50.
$50, right? Do you feel like? Okay? Then I bring in games. I feel like Nintendo games should go back. Like Zelda shouldn't have been no $69. I think it should have been like Breath of the Wild, $59, and some of their games can be $49. I
Why
believe.
do you feel that?
Huh?
Why do you feel that?
Because I believe, and this is not, I believe Nintendo has found that. I feel like Nintendo plays right into the perfect development to recoup. They found the sweet spot. Their development cost is not enormous and out of pocket, and they sell a high clip of titles. If they brought them titles down more, they would sell even more. But they got a. If you look at their sell ratio with their titles, especially their top titles, Nintendo is moving 30 plus Tears of the Kingdom, 20 plus Odysseys, Mario Karts. All them games are selling 20 million plus. So, and then I bet the budget for those games are not reaching. I bet Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom may have reached 100 million, but I doubt Odyssey did. I doubt Mario Kart did. I doubt any of them games reached $100 million to develop. Maybe 80, 90, 70, somewhere around there. Maybe 100. I may be lowballing it. But look how much they're making in sales. Their games are selling. So I think we need to go back like Nia said. We need those midways. We need those middleware developers. I'm not saying Nintendo is middleware, so don't get that twisted. I think Nintendo makes AAA titles, but they found a formula that does not, like Sony, for Sony the formula to work, they got to be cutting edge. They got to drain. They got to go over the budget to get those eyes to look right and that skin texture to be right and the lighting to be right and the environment to look realistic and photo, like they give you that level and they knocking it out the park with The Last of Us. They knocking it out the park with Uncharted and Gears of War and Ratchet and Clank and Spider-Man 2. But they budgets are $300-400 million, $500 million. So, yes, go ahead.
Not every game is that much.
I named a certain. Every game I named.
That's not going to change. But go ahead. I want you to finish your point.
No, I'm just saying, like, I think based on what Keith said, I think they gonna have to do that, make games shorter and bring the price down, because you can't give me a game that's only 10 hours and still charge me $69. I think that's what's hurting them. The prices went up, and so that's hurting. And people are expecting more with that $10 bump. And a lot of these games, like I didn't go out and buy Returnals. I wanted to play it. I just didn't want to spend it. Like we said it back when we was talking about it. That made us really think about our investments. Like going out to buy one game, it's like, boy, I just spent $70, $80 on one title, bro. And it might not even be good. I got Elden Ring over there. I don't play the game. I don't know. I can't do nothing. Okay. That's $59 that I just look at. So yeah, they need to figure something out. But go ahead, K-Bun. My bad. I probably rambled on and didn't say much enough.
No. It's fine. The point I want to make about that is about the reducing of the price. I don't. There is no. So first, let me touch on Keith's point. Let me do that first. Keith was talking about shorter games. If you remember, there was a time where DLC was king.
Mm-hmm.
You remember where every single game had a DLC coming down the pipeline,
Yeah.
and people were ticked because we felt like we were getting
Yeah,
half of game.
yeah,
You
I
were
remember
selling
that.
us half a game, and you were holding off the best stuff and charging us again for it.
Well, say it right, K-Bum. You was announcing DLC before the game even released, so that meant the stuff was
Yeah.
already made.
No. That's
Right.
absolutely does not no. That does not mean that stuff was made. That means
Some of them
that we
said it was.
already.
Yeah, some of them
It was
were
already
already.
planned. It was
It
already
means
planned.
Right.
there is already a plan for what's going to be created. It doesn't mean that it's already made.
Okay.
You can have a plan for what's created and what you want to do, because a lot of games, especially story-driven games, you kind of put those seeds, just like the Spider-Man. This one, you saw the seeds of the DLC when you beat the game. As you beat some of those storylines, you see the seeds of the DLC. So they've already planned it out, but they haven't made it. It's not finished, right? But during that time, the community was ticked because we felt that like you were giving us half a game. It always felt like half a game. It never felt like we were getting the full experience. And so things changed. And so games became longer. The full experience was added. Development took a little longer as well. And then we started to get full experience. And now we're coming back again and saying, don't give us the full experience. Charge us less and give us DLC again. Which I don't fully agree, because here's the thing. I don't fully agree with that, because if you give development companies, you give the suits an idea that you want less of a game, you're going to get way less than what you bargained for. I fully believe that you will get way less than what you bargained for, and everything else will be put behind a paywall. And because these companies will find a way to milk money from you. And if you tell them, yeah, make it shorter and then just charge me for the full some of that pieces later, and we'll make it a full experience. That you're going to get, and this is why I continue to say that we don't want Madden to be a game where you don't release a new version every year, because they have to make the money, because they still have to do the development for it. And so they will absolutely find a way to monetize, even not putting out a game. You will probably play more money than you would have if you would have just bought the game every year. That's how these companies work. They find ways to get the money from you, and so that's why I do have a little pushback, because we were sort of in that phase, right, when we were getting partial games and the rest of it was being done later, and we didn't enjoy that time. That was not a fun time in gaming. The time of the DLC, and I I don't feel like I want to go back to that phase.
All
But that's
right.
my point.
Keith. Come on in here. You answer. You respond, because he kind of responded to what you said. So I'll let you.
No, he brings up a good point, and I thought about that as I was saying it. And I remember I think it was Mass Effect and all these other games that was coming out, and I remember those memes. Somebody had like a hamburger, and they was like, "Well, we used to get the whole hamburger, now we just get the bun, and then they give us the meat later." And the lettuce.
Exactly.
It was a whole meme, and I was
That
like,
is so true.
I was thinking about it, but I was like wondering, like, how could we find a happy medium? Because
Right.
clearly this model isn't working. We have people who are being laid off, as we were just getting into, losing their jobs. Like, it's just February, and I think most of these layoffs happened this year already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me.
So, in I was just trying to find a happy medium, because, like, let's say the first expansion is free of the game or something like that, and then you have to pay for the next one or whatever, just so they can recoup the money, whether or not they actually invested the time to do it. Regardless, because at some point, we as the gamer, them as the game maker, we got to come together and say, we got to agree. We want our games, and y'all want to be able to have a sustainable platform to make money, to keep people employed, or just to keep the lights on. So we gotta figure something out, because if we keep going forward the way we are, I mean, the internet has given people a platform to just talk and spread negativity or positivity. You know what I'm saying? Helldivers, I think, benefited from social media,
Absolutely.
but the thing is,
I think
we
got
gotta
the
find
solution.
we gotta find a way
I think we got
as
the
consumers. Go ahead.
No, finish your point. I said I think we do got the way, but you finish your point.
No, I was just gonna restate what I was saying. I was just saying as consumers, we gotta be willing to pay for things, and they also gotta be. We can't go back to like K-Bone just mentioned. We can't go back to that model. It has to be different.
Right.
Yeah, it has to be
Let me send a shout out to Alan Steve. Welcome to the show. All right, so I'm gonna say this, and it goes back to what Nia said. I'm just gonna build on it, and I'm gonna read this article in a second.
Alan C said Diddy did it. I'm sorry.
He did.
That's funny.
But I don't feel sorry for Diddy, but that's crazy what the brother's dealing with. But hey, I think we need to go back to the early 2000s, how gaming was in 02, 03, 04, in that era, where you had AAA titles, but those were one or two. You had your Uncharted's. Everything wasn't trying to be what Uncharted was, but you still had those mid-tier titles, huh?
No, I said in 02, Uncharted.
I'm saying Uncharted came out in like 2006, 2007, right?
Yeah, I think 7.
Yeah, so I'm saying going back to that era, that time when in that space, maybe let's jump up a year, 06, 07, 08, around there, when you had a Gears, but everything wasn't trying to be Gears, everything wasn't trying to be Halo. You had those smaller games that were still quality games. What's the game that was made by THQ? Dark Souls and stuff like that, where Darksiders, I'm sorry. Darksiders, where those games budgets was nowhere near an Uncharted or Gears or anywhere, but they were still quality games. EA Sports is in the game. Those type of games that people still spent $59 on or whatever at that time, whatever the game cost at that time, $49, $50 on the game. They were still playing full price, but the studios can recoup their money on those type of games because they can put more of those type of games out while they still focus on their AAA title. It seemed like all these studios start trying to make all AAA titles, and it's like K-Bum said earlier, everything doesn't need to be AAA. Everything doesn't need to be bet the whole bank account on it. Like what happened to, and that's why indie development is becoming so popular because they filling those voids. Like is it Kia? Kena Bridge of Spirits is a perfect example. Kena Bridge of Spirits has everything you would expect in a AAA title, almost. There's a few things that keep it from being AAA. Would you say that, Keith?
Kena, yeah. You can still tell that it's a fairly budgeted game.
Right, but it has elements that can pass for AAA. The visuals are outstanding, but you can't go everywhere in the game. The foliage is not moving lifelike. There's certain things that keep it in a budgeted, like a 2A or what it was indie. I mean, yeah. Slap myself.
Slap yourself.
AA title. So I think that's the model, man. Go back to what was working before y'all started chasing the Call of Duty and the Uncharted and the movie cinematic game. Go back to that model pre that. That was working. And that's still working because we have the indies. They not there for no reason. People are finding joy and happiness and fun and experiences that these major companies are not making. Those indie companies are making those games, and it reminds you of the 06, 07, 2010 era when you had a balance in the games. I think that's what Nintendo has. Nintendo still has a balance. They have their major games, the Zeldas, the Marios, all those, but then they have those indie type or middle tier AA games that fill them voids. Then they have those. Just throw it out there and hope somebody finds something that clearly was just a cash grab. They got it all. Whereas Sony, most of their games are big budget. I'm not saying all, but most of them are. Microsoft just spending all their money to buy studios to make them games. So that's what I think. They should return to that model. I think that's a sustainable model where third party and first party can thrive. Go back to that era.
Game Pass.
Nobody would want every game to look like what Nintendo is doing. I'm not saying that. I'm saying Nintendo has every tier. They have something in every tier for you, whereas Sony doesn't.
Because Sony doesn't have to.
Well, let me explain.
No. I'm sorry. I thought you explained. I was waiting.
No, I'm saying. Okay, I know they have third party, but even third party are trying to do AAA all the time. Third party was filling that middleware role. But now you don't see third party filling that role because third parties are trying to make the AAA too. So first party is making AAA, third party is making AAA, studios shutting left and right. That's why we're reading this article. Now indies are thriving. Why? Because they are filling that void that third party used to fulfill. So I'm saying if third party and Sony and Microsoft will look at, and I ain't saying it's biased, I'm just saying just look at it because you just look at their sales. Look, Nintendo feeds all their appetites of their fan base. They have all those games in those categories along with third party, along with indies. Nintendo is also filling those gaps. Now, that may leave less for third party indies to eat. I'm not saying Sony should do it at the clip that Nintendo should do it, but Sony should have. Ratchet & Clank has become a AAA title now. It used to be a middleware title. Now it's a AAA title because it got Sony's. It got polished up by Sony's formula. Now it's a AAA title. You can't even call it a middleware title, where it originally started. So that's what I'm saying. But in floor for anybody.
No, I'll jump on that really, really quickly because and you used Nintendo as an example of doing middleware, doing whatever stick to the wall type of thing, and they're one of the ways they kind of have to do it because they're missing a lot of stuff over there, and so they really have to feed their fans themselves when it comes to the type of gaming that can occur on those systems. And from Sony's perspective, they can be more selective, right? And that's why they can go this long a stretch without producing a big title because they have other means to fulfill that. I do think
Explain.
Indie has taken,
Okay. Wait a minute. Explain. You said they can go.
Sony,
yeah.
yes, Sony can go this long stretch without a first party AAA game and still thrive because you're going to play Helldiver on the Sony system. You're going to play Stellar Blade on the Sony system. You're going to play Rise of Ronin on the Sony system, and all of those games are only on the Sony console. They're not on any other consoles. And none of those are made by Sony.
Yeah, but okay.
And they're still thriving. The platform, not the sales uh, for Sony games, but the platform is still thriving because they're still going to get the college football in the summer. They're going to get the Madden in the fall. They have their baseball in the spring. They have their, they have these other titles which they don't have to provide themselves.
I
And
get
yeah,
that.
we're missing something, right? We are missing that big banger that like we got at the end of last year that Spider-Man helped save uh 2023 for Sony,
That's where I
right?
was
Because
about to go, Nia. That's where I was about to go. And she hit it right on the nail. But if they thriving, why are they laying off people?
uh, and that's the point I wanted to get to is that uh, you're seeing mass layoffs, and the thing is, I wanted to put this in perspective. You're seeing mass layoffs
Across the board.
across not just gaming. You're seeing mass layoffs.
But
My particular job,
let's keep it in
just
gaming. Let's
just
keep it in gaming though.
but that doesn't make sense to keep it in gaming
Yeah,
because
dude. Yeah.
I
Okay.
understand what you're saying, but let me talk it out. Let me finish the point. The point is that what you're seeing is a ripple effect, not and it's not just the fear of gaming that this is occurring in. It's not the bubble. That's the word I'm looking for. It's not a bubble of gaming that you're seeing these layoffs. And so I know we want to keep it just in gaming, but this effect is a issue that's going across development. So you're seeing that in Apples. You're seeing that in the Mastercards. You're seeing that in the Twitches. You're seeing that in a lot of these software development places that they overreached, overspent, over budgeted,
Right.
and they're suffering for it. And it's not just the gaming space. So that's why I'm saying I can't blame just the AAA games, right? Because that's not just a gaming issue that we're experiencing right now. That this is a
Yeah.
phenomenon that we're seeing on a larger scale, and I don't want to just keep it in gaming because you have to be able to see the layout and what's going on and the effects that's being had on other pieces to really understand what's going on. And that's why I don't believe the issue is just too many big titles or not enough time spent on smaller titles. It is a bigger issue here where you have companies that are producing profits and still having layoffs. That Let me say that again. You have companies that are producing profit and are still laying off employees. You're seeing that going on in multiple places, in anywhere that pretty much the software industry touches. So I wanted to add that piece to the conversation.
Okay. Go ahead, Keith. Come in. Jump in.
Well, I wanted to point something out that K-Bone said. The Nintendo Switch does have third party. They are thriving off of their own in-house development game, but they the Switch is a little different than the previous Nintendo consoles. They do have the third party games, and they have a lot of indie games as well. And then you got to factor in that on the go portion of it. So I don't know. Just when you said it that Nintendo's they have to do it themselves, they got to feed their own people. But I don't know. I think the Switch is a little different. I think the Switch is a little different breed than the previous Nintendo systems. I still think it's true. They wouldn't be where they were if Nintendo wasn't feeding it. But I do think Nintendo has opened themselves up to other publishers, never smaller games for sure. But I just wanted to say that part because I just wanted to defend Nintendo for a second.
No problem. And I'll jump at that really quickly because I've had these conversations. I have these points, and people say things like that, and which to a point I understand. But when you look at the top 50 games purchased on the Switch, you see about three third-party games in the top 50.
That's true. That's true.
So yeah,
But
the games are there, but the people on this Nintendo system isn't buying them like they're buying everything else. So yeah, and that's why I want to make sure when we say that we put it in perspective. That Mortal Kombat is on the Switch. The Witcher is on the Switch, but do they even crack the top 50? No. One of the top crack 50 is Among Us, Minecraft, and Monster Hunter.
Okay.
Those are the third-party games that crack the top 50 on Nintendo consoles. Nobody else does.
All right. Let me say this, because the reason I was trying to use Nintendo and why I wanted to keep it in gaming, but it is affecting across the board. But you hit on why, because of overreaching and enormous budgets that put these folks in taking these major risks and they didn't pay off. The reason I use
and CEOs not want to take pay cuts.
Right now, what we noticed that we don't see in any of these reports is Nintendo laying off anybody. Now, it ain't that we haven't seen it. We saw it with the Wii U. We saw it through that. They didn't lay anybody off. I don't think they laid anybody off. They took some pay cuts. They did a whole bunch of things to offset that. I think they eventually did lay some folks off. They did. But my point is, Nintendo model, while you may, and I'm not saying you knocking the cable on, but I think sometimes you frame it in a way that may be as almost like it's negative, but it's not, because like Keith just said, just because those games are not top 50, they're there and they're making money that they otherwise wouldn't make because if they wasn't there. So they're making money, but Nintendo themselves are, and we kind of discussed this before, are so insulated because they are, and they had to learn this through the years of not having third party. They have made themselves self-sufficient in the sense that they supply their fan base with every scratch that they will want, except for certain scratch. They can't do all of them, like sports and different things like that. They still have those games coming to scratch those itch if you want to play it there, if you don't have it somewhere else to play. But they have sports titles. They have those middle tier games. They have the big AAA games. They have them all, but they scratch in every tier. Whereas when you look at Sony relies on their major titles like God of War to get you to buy into their ecosystem and jump on, but then hope that the third party supply all these other areas, which me owning a PlayStation 5, owning a PlayStation 4, if you're not into sports like you are, or online shooters and stuff like that, you're not getting your itch scratched on those systems from third party nor first party. So that's what I'm saying. And so you got this indie group coming up that's kind of filling in that void, but they don't, you got to search through all that to find it, where back in the day that was in abundance on Nintendo system. That stuff is in abundance and is first party offered. So you don't have to go through a whole list of eShop titles to find something that may be good. Nintendo is giving you that itch, or scratching that itch for you. So I'm saying, back in the day, Sony used to have all those tiers covered before they became the story-driven AAA game developing company that they became after Uncharted. They wasn't that before Uncharted. They became that after Uncharted. And then everything started following that model. All their prominent big games follow that model. They changed God of War to that model, even though it was story-driven. They have changed everything to that Uncharted model. Everything has followed Uncharted ever since Uncharted. So I'm saying maybe some of these studios, third party and first party, need to return to an earlier time when they supplied it all and scratched all the itches. They have different studios. Some studios there just to make those smaller, fill in the gaps title. Nintendo have a lot of fill in the gaps until we get to the big title. So we give you Kirby, and we'll give you Yoshi, and we'll give you Captain Toad, and then you'll get a Mario Kart. and then we give you some more of those, and then we'll give you Odyssey, and you get Arms in there somewhere. See what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like I think that's the model that everybody used to follow. I think somewhere we got away from that.
We lost them when studios started to close. We
Well,
lost
why
it
did they close?
in the PS4. No, they didn't close because of AAA. No,
they closed because not AAA. They closed because of HD. I meant to say HD.
I still disagree with that.
They didn't close because of HD.
I don't know. No,
Okay.
No.
All right. Well, I'm curious.
I disagree with that statement. I know some people say that. Not everyone agrees to that. They closed to the AAA. I mean, sorry, HD. But what we saw a mass reduction of studios.
Why?
This is why AAA has come underneath and provided experiences for us, because we lost those middle tier companies that used to do that. The THQs that used to do that, and then all these different studios with even EA used to have multiple studios.
Yeah,
even to be able to do their STEM sports and their arcade sports.
Right.
And we used to have 3 different type of racing games. You had Burnout. You had they had more than that. So you had Burnout. You had NASCAR. You had F1. You had Need for Speed. And then there was another EA driving. EA had like 5 driving car simulating games, but it was during the economy. It wasn't sustainable, because part of the reason is that some of these massive games started to take the share. And it didn't, and you weren't making enough money on some of these smaller games, and that's a lot of factors. I can't say that those 2 factors were the major and only factors. I do believe, and the rise in development costs, and I know they like to equate HD to the rise of development costs, but the rise of development costs was the reason why it wasn't sustainable. Some of the choices made, and the fact that. Also, what aided to development costs not the cost, but to gaming, was reselling. That's why they had the Project $10 to make money back, because that also aided into the sales of games, was GameStop and resales. So I don't believe it's one magic thing that weeded out the middleware developers, the midway and THQs of the world. But
go ahead, Keith. My bad.
No, that's funny. What he was saying was the reselling, and it made me think about Microsoft and the DRM situation and how they were trying to stop reselling. And like once you buy a game, that's it. And if somebody wanted to play that game, they got to go out and buy that same game. They can't just piggyback off the fact that you bought it, because the only people that benefit from that at that time was like GameStop, or whoever else was reselling the game. We got a company here called Game Exchange. Trash. But yeah, so you got that's a really good point. If you look back at the history, they've been trying to figure out a way from the beginning, and now I feel like it's really coming to a head, and we're seeing it impact it even more and more. But they've been trying to figure this out for a long time.
Right. I would say this. Shouts out to Chariot Man Gaming. Welcome to the show. I'm gonna say this. All right, so let's walk back, because I believe K-Bum made some valid points, but I feel like we are kind of skimming through some realities of that time. Used games has been a part of the gaming space for a minute, even before HD and PlayStation 3 and 360 era. You had games being resold. That's been a part of the equation. When we started seeing these major studios, a lot of these studios that we loved, when we started to see them fall off, was that PlayStation 3, 360 generation. That's when them studios started to close. And what I remember being said from them and from the IGNs and the other ones was the cost of making HD games. Nintendo's whole thing with the Wii was a hesitance to move into HD development because of the cost. Learning how to make these games look good and run well and the cost that it was going to have on the games. And that was why a lot of those middle tier type games and studios began to close. It wasn't GameStop. It wasn't Best Buy reselling the titles. That was an annoyance, but that was not why those studios closed. That was not why EA stopped making EA big games. It was because the cost to make the games and the return wasn't there. So they started to focus on their bigger titles, less titles, more of the same title. So you started getting Call of Duty every year, and that online experience.
Call of Duty was always coming out every year.
I know,
that wasn't a new thing.
But it was introduced at that time. I'm not saying it was a new thing.
Oh, Call of Duty predates. Call of Duty's Modern Warfare came out around that time, but Call of Duty was already coming out.
I know.
Before that,
I'm saying right. It was on PC. Then it got its first real introduction to console gamers on the 360, if I'm not mistaken. Am I wrong on that?
It was the Call of Duty 3 was the first introduction to release the console.
Yeah, but it was on the 360, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so those type of games begin to be introduced to, just like we seen with Fortnite and all these games changing the game. Call of Duty changed the game. And they were
Call of Duty didn't change the game until Modern Warfare 4.
I'm just saying, I know, but I'm saying before that game became what it was, you saw the build up that it was going. You saw it trending that way. That's what I'm trying to say. So, and Call of Duty 4 blew up and became a thing, but it was steps to that place. And then you start seeing all the third parties chase after that model, chase after what they was doing. And you started to see those middle tier titles not find a place anymore because of the cost of development and because of the switch in focus. And they started closing studios. And then EA started producing, what was the game EA was producing to keep up with Call of Duty? Battlefield. Battlefield became their focus. And pump that more money into that, more time in that. And then, so I think that big AAA title, the Call of Duty, that all changed the landscape. It changed everything, and they got out of, like, EA totally changed. It just became Madden, Battlefield, and every now and again a single player, or they'll buy a studio, like, you know. So I don't know, man. I feel like they need to go back to that. That model was working. When we was in college, K-Bun, that model, when we had games in a
studios, and there were studios there to do it, that model worked.
That's what I'm saying.
We can't go back to that because we don't.
Because they fired all of them.
There was only a remnant, a small of that to be able to do it. Remnant. What you have now is that you have smaller number of studios with larger teams to be able to get the work done.
And that's becoming a problem now. Anyway, let me read this, and then I'm gonna go back to that other article. But you're right. I'm not knocking anything you're saying. I'm just saying.
And I did, before you move on, I did want to get a piece that DLC was also to counteract the resale. Resale. DLC and Project $10, like,
because you had to
they
have
were
that
throwing
disc.
things at the wall.
You had to have that disc, right?
And I know you kind of downplayed the resale that has always been there, but you have to understand that they literally put things into practice that affect us today to counteract the resale.
Yeah,
Project $10 and DLC. The resale was that big of a problem in the industry that they started these different initiatives to counteract the resale. I don't want to just belittle the resale like that.
I didn't belittle it. I was saying I don't think it
resale
played
was
as
always
much.
there. You said it was always there.
I'm saying I was making that point in saying that I don't believe it played a major part in why studios closed. I thought I said that in there. That I don't think it affected why studios closed. but I did think it was an annoyance that they was trying to stop.
No, it's not annoyance. It was a issue.
It was annoyance then, and it's an issue now. Yeah, yeah.
No, it was a problem, bro. It wasn't a light thing. The fact that they were coming up with strategies to counteract it wasn't annoying. It was a problem on the industry. It was a problem that these companies were not making the money on sales, so they came up ways to make money. I don't want to belittle that, but that's what happened, and that's why we got the things that we got.
Okay, all right. Well, but they were still selling 10, 15 million copies of the game, and they still selling them same amount of games, even if they stopped.
No, they weren't selling the same amount of games. That's why they were losing money. They weren't making. They weren't selling the same amount, and that's why they come different ways to recoup the money.
Okay.
Because people were buying resale. People would play the game, beat it,
take it back, and then people go buy the
take it back,
game.
and then someone would buy the used one. So that is one less game you would have made, and we saw a lot of that, and that's why they started to do. They used to charge you for online. The game itself used to charge you $10 to play online. That was them counteracting the resale,
trying to discourage you. Yeah.
It was discourage people. If you bought it new, you didn't have to, but if you bought it used, you had to pay $10 to play online.
I would say that's why I say annoyance. I'm not saying it didn't. I'm using annoyance. Because it did affect, but I'm saying as far as why these studios were closing, I don't think that was the major reason. That's all I'm saying. So I divorce myself from annoyance, but I still don't believe it played a major factor in why these studios were closing. But let me read this real quick. PlayStation lays off. I'm reading real quick, and you can bring it right back to that because we still talking about it.
I'm gonna leave it there.
Oh, okay. PlayStation lays off 900 people, closing London studio entirely. All regions and several studios, including Naughty Dog and Insomniac, impacted. So, Sony Interactive Entertainment is laying off around 900 workers, or 8% of the company. Outgoing president and CEO Jim Ryan said in a news release published on Tuesday. Employees from all regions, North America, Europe, the Middle East, Africa, Japan, Asia, Pacific, are impacted. Man, they got spots in Africa? Okay. All right, Sony. Anyway, are impacted by the I didn't know that. Are impacted by the cuts, including several PlayStation development studios, London studio. The in-house team that created the Sing Star series will close entirely, Ryan said. It was also revealed Naughty Dog and Insomniac Games, Guerrilla Games will see layoffs. These are incredibly talented people who have been a part of our success, and we are very grateful for their contributions, Ryan said in the news release. However, the industry has changed immensely, and we need to future ready ourselves to set the business up for what lies ahead. We need to deliver on expectation from developers and gamers and continue to propel future technology in gaming. So we took a step back, a huge one, to ensure we are set up to continue bringing the best gaming experience to the community. Impacted employees from the United States will be notified on Tuesday, Ryan said in an email to staff published on the Sony Interactive Entertainment website. United Kingdom labor laws require companies to. All right, so we got through the gist of it. So, man, that's messed up. Let me go back to this other one. 59 days into 2024, and 8,100 plus video game layoffs have been announced. Within the last few years, video game industry layoffs have unfortunately become more commonplace. In 2023, we saw near weekly layoffs across the entire industry. When the dust has settled, at least 6,000 jobs across publishers, developers, and other video game related companies have been terminated. Sadly, it appears 2024 will outpace that if the first few weeks of the year are any indication. Most folks didn't expect 2024 to be much better, but I'm not. Most folks didn't expect 2024 to be much better, but I'm not sure anyone was ready for it to be possibly worse. Yet this year has kicked off with a string of big and small layoffs, signaling that the corporate bloodletting ritual aren't ending anytime soon. So Kotaku is going to try and tackle all 2024 layoffs as they happen. Hopefully we don't have to update this post that much. So they basically let you know. I guess they letting you know who all was getting laid off. So yeah, this is sad. You know,
It's bad.
it's bad, and we all kind of speculated on what we think may could change and fix it. I would say get more creative, definitely. Hey, AA titles. Hey, ain't nothing wrong. some of this. Hey, any more thoughts on it? I want to keep going. I don't find it fun. I'm not laughing at. I'm not laughing at the layoffs. I'm just laughing at the fact that Jim really didn't care. You could tell he wasn't tripping off these layoffs. When he said it's, what did he say? Take a step back. Hold up, let me go back. Because that was kind of goofy. However, the industry has changed immensely, and we need to future ready ourselves to set the business up for what lies ahead. So, okay, so what do you mean? Future ready yourself. So, future ready yourself mean you had to let people go. You can't find another way to. So we need to deliver on expectations from developers and games. We need. Okay, that don't make any sense. We need to deliver on expectations from developers, but you just laid off your developers and gamers and continue to propel future technology in game. Ryan is just saying a whole bunch of nothing. None of this, what future technology in game. So we took a step back to ensure we are set up to continue bringing the best experiences, gaming experiences to the community.
All they're saying is thank you for your service. You are no longer needed. We'll take that extra money and put it where we want to.
Right.
Thank you very much. Bye bye. Thank you
yeah.
for helping us keep our budget, so we don't have to close so the studio can keep making money, and I can keep my job as CEO.
Exactly. that part. Thank you for being the sacrificial lamb for us to
keep Sony moving forward.
So basically, Jim is so this seems like this is a shakeup. That's what this is. The workplace cuts come shortly after Sony's recent financial report, wherein Sony's chief operating officer and president Hiroki Totoki, said that Sony Interactive Entertainment has no major projects due for release before March 2025. Totoki will take over as Sony Interactive Entertainment interim CEO when Ryan leaves the PlayStation business in April. Speaking during the financial presentation, Totoki spoke about PlayStation first-party studios, saying there's room for improvement. So somewhere, what this says to me, with how these studios spent money. So what schedule development and stay accountable towards development pipeline. So what this said is there was a lot of overspending, unnecessary, or that's what it said to me, and that's why I said it's a shakeup. That's probably why Ryan is leaving, because they've been maybe hemorrhaging money, and they probably did some looking through the books and asked some questions. Why are these studios why are we paying all these people? why are these studios for? Okay, what did this person do? What did this person do? We need all those. So that's what it seemed like to me that Sony is like, we've been spending a lot of money and we don't know why. So I guess when they did the assessment, they felt like they had too many developers. And so it says how these studios spend money, schedule development, and stay accountable towards development pipeline. So this was an in-house cleanup. The video game industry has been particularly violent over the past several years. This has created an industry crisis, adding to pressure of an already challenging profession. According to an industry tracker, more than 7,000 people have been laid off in 2024 alone, and a number that is quickly approaching to more than 10,500 people laid off.
That's crazy.
In 2023. So they trimming, so they cutting these studios down, and they're about to they be like, look, do you need 100-member studio, or do you need half of that? Can you do it with half? So might have been a lot of inflatedness and a lot of fat that they didn't need. I'm not saying it's great.
There's positions in software where you can do without.
Yeah,
or you can trim, but what I've found out being in software and a lot of places is that they trim the size of teams, but they expect the same level of quality and work.
Right. They literally saying that.
Let me ask you this, K-Bone, since you are a developer, what about tools such as AI? All this automated things that they're able to do now. Is that also a factor as to, hey, we don't need all these people, we could just put this into a algorithm and let it do its thing?
Absolutely not.
No,
that is from what I've seen in development. That is not how AI will affect the software industry. That we can just we can just have some AI write it, because the AI lies, and there's a lot of people that don't like to explain that, but the AI lie. I've used it, asked it how to do certain things, and it told me with all confidence, and it was absolutely wrong. So I think smart application of AI is going to impact the software industry, but it's not going to be we can get rid of these developers because we can just give us the AI and AI write it. That's not what's going on, but it is definitely going to impact the development. It has impacted. You can use it to help you write code, but you still need that human touch. I believe. I don't think it's smart enough yet to not lie, and that's what it'll do. It'll tell you exactly what the code should be, and you'll look at it and read it like, no, that's not that won't work.
Gotcha.
So, I guess we can go to this last subject. It's unfortunate, man, but it seemed like with Sony, I think they feel like there was some mismanagement going on. That's what it seemed like to me. Jim is leaving. Dude coming in from Japan, coming to run things, and he said, "Hey, people spending money, more money than they should be." Like that's what it seemed like. But even in that, it's still sad, and you don't want to see nobody faced with this. Hopefully, they get a good severance pay and they're able to land on their feet, prayerfully.
Absolutely.
We can end on this subject. Nintendo sues Switch emulator as a user, Keith?
Yuzu,
for facilitating piracy at a colossal scale. Nintendo isn't alleging Yuzu stole the keys, but says it's all about piracy. So I'm gonna let you lead on this one, Keith. Go ahead. You got this one.
So yeah, I saw this article early. Well, was it? I think it was like 2 days ago that Nintendo was suing this company, and I'm trying to figure out where you stopped off at.
I stopped there. I just read the introduction, so you can go to if you have seen the Steam Deck and all that. So that's where I'm at. If you want to read it.
If you have seen, I don't even know where you're at.
Under the Nintendo the red and tan, yellow is black. I don't know if you're reading the same article. I got the one you put up from the Verge. You got the Verge article that you put in the chat?
No, I'm on a different one.
All right, well, just read what you got.
I'm on the Providence. Okay. So the company is Haze LLC, Tropic Haze LLC, and they make this emulator called Yuzu. And if you know anything about emulators, the emulator just does the thing. You could essentially say your Blu-ray player is an emulator, and you have to use software or disc or something to play it. So to me, when I look at this thing, I don't know if Nintendo can win. Nintendo got some ninjas, but I don't know if they can win this one. But they are saying that they are facilitating the piracy at a colossal scale. Let's see, Tropic Haze with a corporate address listed as, let's see, what about blah blah blah. A video game emulator allows a video game emulator is a software that allows users to unlawfully play pirated video games, according to the complaint filed Tuesday in a U.S. District Court. Today, Yuzu provides any internet user in the world with the means to unlawfully decrypt and play virtually any Nintendo Switch game, including Nintendo's current generation most popular games, without ever paying a dime for a Nintendo console or for the game. And to be clear, there's no lawful way to use Yuzu to play Nintendo Switch games, including because it must decrypt the game's encryption, the company wrote. Defendant must be held accountable for willfully providing users the means to violate Nintendo's intellectual property rights at such a scale. The harm to Nintendo is manifest and irreparable.
Okay.
I don't know. But there was another company.
Nia kind of putting it all in the chat.
Oh, is she?
She said because I keep saying it wrong. Yuzu or whatever you said was pushing to put it on Steam. That's what bit them in the butt. They were trying to make it an app for Steam Deck. And that's what this will say right here. Hold up. Let me read this.
Yeah.
He said, if you ever seen a Steam Deck playing a Zelda, Legend of Zelda game, chances are you were seeing the Yuzu emulator at work. Now, Nintendo has sued the developers of Yuzu in a U.S. federal court with the intent of squashing Yuzu for good. In the lawsuit spotted by Stefan Tutullo, Nintendo alleged that Yuzu violated the circumvention and anti-trafficking provision of the Digital Millennial Copyright Act, DMCA, I got that out, as well as accusing the creator of copyright infringement. It alleges Yuzu is primarily designed to circumvent several layers of Nintendo Switch encryption so that its users can play copyrighted Nintendo games. The company not only asked for the court to stop Yuzu in its tracks with a permanent injunction, it also wants to take away its domain name. Nintendo don't be playing URLs, chat rooms.
You want to erase your whole life,
right? Social media presence. Yuzu. I can't even get that out. Over the Nintendo and even seize and destroy his hard drives to help wipe out the emulator. Oh, and Nintendo wants lots of money in damages as well. When they say the ninjas come, they come. Aren't emulators illegal? Well, yes and no. Okay, so basically what Nia said, Steam Deck seems to be the triggering point. That, that they trying to, they making these games. And I was watching the video earlier, Keith, and the dude was saying how Yuzu was actually teaching folks how to pirate the game. So you got the floor. You got the floor.
that's when people go. That's when you start going too far. You got a good thing going, and several people know it, and now let's try to make this into a no. You need to chill. You know what you're doing isn't the whole emulation portion of it. You know that it is what it is. But when you start trying to teach people how to do it and telling them where to get the torrents and all this other
Yeah.
different stuff. Like no, or taking your own existing Switch games and cracking them. However that's done, I don't know how to do that, but taking those and cracking them. But at least you pay for it, I guess. There's that. But no, people they get too big for their britches, man, and they start trying to do too much and put it everywhere and broadcast it as if that's cool. Nah. If you got a good thing going, because people were that's how we got those videos of people playing Tears of the Kingdom in 4K at 60 frames a second at HDR and all that other stuff.
That's embarrassing the Switch.
Right, because of stuff like this.
Because I want to
And
play that.
and it's been out there, and we've had other emulators such as Dolphin.
Right.
Nintendo didn't come at them, but now people you trying to take it too far now.
Right.
You know, you teaching people how to basically take money from us.
So Nia said, I love emulation, but the line is piracy. So they was showing folks how to pirate the game. And yeah, that is a step too far. Because you're right, Keith. Now you said they never win at Dolphin?
I don't know. Well, if they did, they didn't win.
Okay. So watching that video that you shared earlier, it said that Nintendo had people in their Discord listening to the conversations, and like they literally infiltrated undercover
And then just
and gathered intel and had they got all type of stuff to show that that's what they was literally doing. That indeed Yuzu, if that's how you say it, was participating and inciting piracy and helping. They was kind of backdooring you through others to help these games be emulated, so that they can get them and emulate them. I mean, so they was helping others pirate the game so that they could play them and emulate them. You know, so they was loopholing the system, and Nintendo's in those chat rooms listening to the conversations, and they got data, they got all of it. So I mean, I don't know if they're going to be successful, but it seems like they're going to be. So, K-Bomb, any thoughts? And then we get out of here.
Don't mess with them ninjas. Good lord. Yeah. So yeah, emulation is a great area. And Nintendo has been successful in stopping emulations. I know there was no, it was a ROM page. I know there was a ROM page I used to go to back in the day when I used to do emulation for like the Nintendo games or the old school Sega. And Nintendo went after them hard because they had all the ROMs, and that's where you would get the ROMs from. And they shut all that. They shut them down, and they wiped them off the face of the planet, as Nia said. So I don't know. Nintendo just don't sue for just to sue. If they actually doing a lawsuit, they got the goods to do it. And there's not too many times that Nintendo will lose a lawsuit or get it settled in their way. So I don't know. This doesn't look good for Yuzu. They should have, as Keith said, stayed in their lane and not try to touch the sun, as they say. They touch the sun and you burnt your wings off. What it sounds like. They were trying to get too big and trying to get it everywhere. And I guess trying to monetize, have a bigger impact when it comes to monetization on their behalf. That Nintendo said that money belongs to us. So I don't know. To me, it don't look good. For Yuzu, I do think that this is going to be probably a settlement from them if they want to have any survivability. But even with that, I think if there's a settlement, Nintendo still gets the majority of what they want out of the deal. So I don't know. To me, it doesn't look good. I've done my own share of emulation. I usually don't play any new games with the emulation back in the day. 'Cause I had my Xbox was modded and stuff like that, and I can do that. My restriction was old games. I didn't play any new games with it. Kind of like Nia. I just try to stay away from that type of piracy. If it was a new game, I try to buy it instead of emulate it. But yeah, it doesn't look good for YouTube, in my opinion.
I definitely emulated some old Mario games, and I'm talking about GameCube. I was that's about as far as I went back though. I haven't played anything on the Switch on my PC.
Yeah, I think like I said, where Yuzu messed up is literally trying to teach people how to do it and using it as a way to get access. And yeah, at that point, like Nia said, you're doing too much. And I guess they didn't realize Nintendo was lurking. They got not only do they got ninjas, they got spies.
They got caught slipping like they try to do Cam Newton.
Yeah. Oh, bro. And the sad thing about that situation was it was a grown dude trying to brag about getting manhandled while he wasn't getting punched. Like Cam wasn't even punching the dude. He was manhandling 3 dudes.
Tossing that man like a child.
Yeah. So you knew he could have hurt him if he wanted to. But yeah, man. So I'm gonna say I don't blame Nintendo here. Normally I be feeling like Nintendo be doing the most. But on this situation, kind of watching that video and kind of looking at why they targeting them. Yeah, if you're gonna help people to steal my game that I created so that you can then emulate it and sell it to make money, so you can kind of keep your hands clean, you teaching others to do it, and then you gaining access through what you're showing folks. Yeah, you need to go sit down. Time out, sir. Time out. You just put your nose in the corner. No recess for you. So, any other things here? Are we done? Because we did this 2 hours. So yeah, we done. We finished. So with that being said, that was the show for tonight. We covered a lot of grounds. Hopefully, the gaming industry can recover.
Hope so.
People trying to say that we about to hit a crash. I don't agree with that. I don't think we're about to hit no crash. I think gaming, for the most part, is still thriving. I just think they need to personally, I think they need to start thinking through, like K-Bum, like you said, and what Keith said too. You need to pick and choose where you throwing that amount of money at. Not every game needs to be AAA. So yeah, when you getting up into the billions, you might be doing something wrong. So anyway, I'm gonna let y'all come in. I guess Mr. Norris, come on through here, bro.
Yes, sir. It's good topics tonight. Glad everybody who did come through came through. Happy to see everybody. I'm not even gonna lie, like K-Bone said at the beginning. Brother was tired. I'm tired. I'm about to crash as soon as we get off here.
Yeah.
And man, I really enjoyed everybody, man.
All right. That was Mr. Norris. K-Bum, your floor.
Yeah, man. Enjoy the podcast. I know for me, I am in my new place of residence, and so we're still getting settled in. Yeah, there's a lot going on from our end, so I'm kind of tired from that perspective. But we're happy with what we have. Brand new place, built it ourselves, so we're super excited and ecstatic to be here. Don't want to go to work or into the office. I'd rather just be at home. Especially with this 77-inch TV, humble brag. But no, enjoy the podcast, man. Enjoy the chat as usual. Nia, Jared, man, Alan, Steve, appreciate it. I think we're missing the first thing basis didn't come through today, but it'll probably be in the rewatch. Appreciate that. But I thought it was some good topics. I thought we had some good back and forth debates. We had some pretty good points being laid out on multiple sides, so I enjoy it. I thought it was a great day.
Yeah, man, I agree with that, K-Pop. Yeah, we had some good discussion. Like everybody jumping in the comment section, keeping us company. Good topic. Man, just pray for those that are lost. Just pray for this nation as a whole, man. We need to pray. We need to pray for folks. People are not just losing, like K-Bone, you said it earlier. It's not just affecting the gaming industry. We seeing this across the board. I know they touting.
We just had teams laid off in my department. There was an entire team just laid off.
Right.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, man. So I know they saying the economy is thriving, but I don't know if we feeling it. And then we got this new election season, and
oh Lord,
Mr. Idiot is talking loud and hard, and I don't like none of them. The one in office is
Mr. Sleepy, Mr. Idiot, and
we got Mr. Sleepy, we got and we got Mr. Dum Dum.
Why are we doing this again?
Yeah. So yeah, pray for this country, cause somewhere we got idiots running the country, and it seems like the smart people voting for them. So anyway, this was a Live and Level Gamers podcast. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, all in your eardrum, all in them internet streets. Till then, y'all be safe, be blessed. Deuces.
We got smashed, bro.